Thermal imaging. Why would I want thermal imaging inside of a ghost hunt? Come on, guys, it's interactive.
Because ghosts don't have heat.
Right, they're cold. We're looking for cold spots. So, like literal cold spots. This is a FLIR camera, so this is the same thing like basically firemen would use to go help save people. So you guys should be able to see me in there. I'm the orange, red, and yellow guy. That means I'm the hottest thing inside the picture. Sorry, Tom. So, know what that... Now, we're literally looking for the blue and black spots to move on their own. The cool thing about your video that you're going to get back, there's a blue dot bouncing around the screen that's going to give you the coldest spot in the frame at that particular moment. Now, that's going to help direct your eye to help you find those cold spots. So I also, when I'm reviewing it, I also look at the blue and black areas of obviously the surface temperature in the frame at that particular time. So I don't just use the blue dot. So again, we're going to do some starts and stops with this thermal imaging camera because as great as the hardware is, the software it sucks. It's horrible. So if we record for too long, Tom, I'm going to ask you to obviously stop and we're going to give it a break for a few minutes and then we're going to start back up again. You are going to hold this horizontal just like that all night long. So the reason why I say horizontal... Oh, yeah, you can...
Oh,
do
I turn this
Nope,
way?
you want to be able to watch it.
Oh, okay.
There you go.
All right.
So the camera is on the lower left-hand side, right where your fingers are.
Okay.
So basically, move your fingers. There you go.
Sorry.
No, you're good. So yeah, you just got to kind of find your comfy spot with it. So now with this guy, like, again, even when I tell you to go ahead and start it back up again, make sure it's in that horizontal position with the camera on your left. That's the wire side.
Okay.
So,
all right. You want me to turn it off now?
Nope. I want you to keep it going.
All right.
You want to get some footage and see if there's any ghosts nearby. Let's see. Let's get both cameras out. Let's get these out of the way.
Nothing yet.
There's no whispering on ghost hunting.
She's drunk there. Oh gosh.
No, not always. No.
It's not taking me back.
Yes.
Oh no, that doesn't happen.
Okay.
I got everything under protection, like we are good to go.
We're in a bubble?
Yes, pretty much. Pretty much. All right, so quick demo with this guy. You should not be able to see me in that very small black screen, so it should be pretty dark in there, so everybody can kind of see. Let's turn on some lights. So you should now see me in a purple or pinkish hue. So I should be in purple circle, right?
Yes.
So really what we're working with is IR lighting. So this is full spectrum lighting. There are two lights being emitted from here that we can't see with our own eyes. So the basic gist of this is that we're hoping to capture something we would not be able to see with our own eyes. So we have an accompanying device that's going to kind of assist with this one. We are trying a little bit new rig up with this guy just because it does like to lock up a ton of times. So we're trying something new to try to alleviate that. So I'll kind of go through that with the person that's going to have it.
Oh, I volunteer. I'll do it.
You on this one?
Yeah.
Perfect.
Full spectrum for you.
A little on the heavy side, just so you know. Now we're not recording yet, but I will kind of go through a little bit more with that specific device once we get rolling. The next device that's going to accompany that, I need you to pick a partner.
Me?
Yes.
Belina.
Somebody who's perfectly sober.
Oh, never mind. Never mind. I'm sober. That'll be Nina. Birthday person.
Perfect.
Birthday girl.
You do this.
I'm sorry. She said sober.
I mean, honestly, I'm sorry, but this is a perfectly...
Yeah, definitely not you.
Yeah, definitely.
My bad.
This is the neuralizer from Men in Black. None of you are going to remember anything by the time we're done.
Exactly what I
Laser. Ooh. Yeah, see why we need somebody sober with this one?
Yes.
No.
Too late. I got it.
The reason why we're using lasers, everybody, is because you can see the stars on the ground, but you can't see the actual lasers until something passes through it. Now, the camera, I'm sorry I'm going to lose names all night.
Priya. Yeah.
Priya.
You can just call me Johnson. It's easy.
Don't throw me off.
Okay.
So, these lasers show up like a Christmas tree inside of Priya's camera. So basically, you two are going to be working together with these particular lasers. Now we have green stars and we have red squares. So the red squares, if we capture something here, I can take the still from the video and put it in 3D software and give you a full 3D view of what we have along with measurements. So I've had this guy for almost a year and I've yet to have something where the software actually took it, but I do have some anomalies that we cannot explain. So with that said, lasers stay on the ground.
Okay.
So you always want to keep them on the ground for sure. The pen has a button right where my index finger is. You have to hold it on. And then the red square has a toggle switch. So you have to be careful because once it's on, it's on. Okay. So again, there is a laser law in Charleston, which is again why I hence the very sober person. So I will give you the same spaces.
They won't throw you in jail on your birthday.
Okay, so can I just test it?
it's a dot. There you go. Little
And
button.
then this one's just a...
Toggle. So push it.
Okay.
There you go. Perfect. All right.
Got it.
Let's get into spirit boxes because we're going to be using a lot of those tonight.
And then she's like,
It's okay. I got easier stuff too. So, spirit boxes are basically a way for us to communicate with the dead.
Can I communicate with that?
Yes.
What?
You want that one, don't you?
Oh my gosh.
So this particular spirit box is going to sweep through the FM radio stations at a fast rate. On your TV shows, it's normally the white noise, and then the host will tell you what he thinks he heard in the middle of it. So we're going to be doing that in real time. Now, what they normally show you on television, or let you listen to on television, are disembodied voices. Those are a rarity. So with that said, my spirit boxes are slowed down. I only capture about 4 to 6 disembodied voices per year. So the fact that these guys are claiming that they're getting 4 to 8 per episode blows my mind. It's very, very skeptical. But anyway, so with this one, it is slowed down. I want you listening for the song lyrics, the DJs, and the commercials that are going to sneak through, sweeping through all of those different stations. Now, you're going to have a set of earbuds in, so the only person that's going to be able to hear it in real time is you. However, this one is recording. So, tomorrow morning, I'm going to spot check it and put up like 15 to 20 more markers on top of whatever she hears in real time. So, with that, this is going to give us probably the most amount of evidence. It's a 50-50 shot that you can make out whatever the radio DJ is saying or song lyric, that I can tie it to the location, a person in history we're discussing, or even something going on with one of you. It happens all the time. So again, it's a 50-50 shot. Sometimes I might say, yeah, that's kind of vague. So in essence, if you hear a commercial that says, buy it now, I want to know that you heard buy it now. So again, London will show you where the volume button is. Since now. So,
She's like, I'm doing this because I have to.
do you want to try one of these out too?
Sure.
Okay, because I have 2 of them.
Okay.
This one will not record, so I'll have to rely on you based on whatever you hear.
And when I hear something, I tell you.
Yep.
We've heard that before. We've done that before in our house.
Okay.
Without a box.
With a
Bell.
with things and other stuff. So.
Okay. Well, you'll have to undo the twist tie to get to the earbud. Most people just listen with one earbud in, and your volume button is the wheel at the top. So I have it all the way down. So untie that twist tie. By the way, I don't want earbuds back, so earwax is gross. So you guys get to keep those.
Ooh, souvenir.
Yeah, right.
Oh, wow. I love free stuff.
You get to
She does.
Here, put your little light on there.
Goodness. Love it. Like, did you just shop it? Remember Charleston in here? Everyone put their stuff in my bag.
So the next spirit box, we got a lot more devices we got to go through, guys. So the next spirit box is going to give us words from time to time in the center of the screen. On your TV shows, they call this an obulus. So this one in particular is a phone app. It's meant to try to scare you. Okay, so 80% of what we're actually going to see out of this guy doesn't mean anything. It's going to save everything to a list. That list has timestamps next to each term and phrase that actually pops up. Again, 80% of it isn't going to mean anything. It's the other 5 to 20% where I'll verify it and then send you the link to be able to verify it for yourself. So again, last time I'm going to clear out the last list I had. They had about 75 terms, and we're going to go back to the main screen. So the word symptom will not be the first word on our list. So again, we were going to start fresh with whatever the next word is going to go to. I don't want to see every word that pops up on the list. I will come to you when I want to see what's going on there. So that way, otherwise we're going to be out here till like 4 in the morning because you're going to want to show me every word that comes up. Just so you know.
Just kind of hold on to it.
Just hang on to it. Yeah.
Wait, I'm hearing something. Am I supposed to tell you that?
Not the.
No, through here, but I hit the wrong button, turned it off, and turned it back on.
So anything that's not white noise. That's about it.
And where's the volume?
It's the wheel at the very top.
Yes.
So
I try to help you.
Okay,
nope,
perfect.
this one is crazy setup, so I have to do it in the dark. So this last spirit box is brand new. Just got this guy. And basically what it's going to do is it's going to sweep through those FM stations along with the AM stations at the same time. And it's going to take out the white noise that the 2 people listening with earbuds are allegedly hearing in real time. So right now it's giving us a little bit of like spit up back and forth. So I'm going to actually put it on mute. I just wanted everybody to kind of get a gist of what it actually sounds like. So with this one, just because your hands are so full, you only have to worry about one button. So yeah, this one I'm going to put it on mute, and I'll say, let's go ahead and unmute yours and kind of see where it's going. So, and it's the only button on the right-hand side right here. You don't need to hit anything else because it's already speaking.
Until you tell me to hit it.
You got it. And there's cues for pretty much everybody's device. Obviously, lasers are going to be in safe zone.
No, it's all right.
So forth and so on.
Yep.
Just switch.
I'm good. I'm good.
All right.
I got a job. I have a job.
You always wanted to do.
You could have just moved here too. You're about to get yours.
There's only 2 of you left, right?
Yeah.
Perfect. So,
Linda.
she's got to help me bounce around. So you guys have seen these on television, right? So
Yes.
these are the blinky lights, right? It measures electromagnetic fields. So anything that comes out of your cell phone, wiring, buildings, parking meters, like this one kind of helps us debunk things that are actually happening in real time. So the only thing you need to do is let us know when it lights up and just tell me what color you see. I already have the measurements memorized. So this one's nice and easy and is not like some ghost trying to chatter in your ear.
She's not. She's not.
No, she was a little hesitant on the spirit boxes.
She's scared, but she's the most sober one. Take the spirit.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, we're not doing that.
Sorry, did not mean to do
Got in
that.
the car.
All right, this last device is going to have 3 different functions to it, so you're my multitasker. Yeah.
You are multitasking.
Now, what this one is going to do is it's called a mel meter. So it has an EMF meter built into it, but this one over here only goes to 25. This one in my hand goes to 200. It's a little bit more accurate, and it's digital. So anything above 2.5, I want to know what's going on, because that would be the second green dot on that device. That way we can kind of debunk things and prove things what's going on. The next thing it has is it has ambient temperature. If we find something on the thermal imaging camera, we'll be able to prove it or debunk it really fast based on this probe here at the top. The last thing that it has is it has a motion sensor in it called a REM pod. If something gets close to that antenna that I just pulled out, it will go off. I'm not even touching it. So if the closer it gets, obviously, the higher the pitch it's going to go, and there's an array of color in there that we're going to talk about at our first location. I'm going to turn off the motion sensor for now. I just need you to focus on those numbers on the red screen. Okay. All right, guys, go have fun. Let me know what happens.
Just point us in the direction you want us to go.
I'm sending you your text too.
You two follow each other. We're gonna stay here then.
So I also have a voice recorder on my bag. That's why I asked for your names after I started the recording. So you're going to need that recording for a couple of reasons. You're going to need it, A, because I'm taking you to weird spots that the other tours won't go to. So it's kind of a point of reference. It's also
Here's
there.
someone saying hey to me. Sorry, I have a headset.
The other reason is to listen for EVPs. Those are the disembodied voices that are not coming through as radio chatter on your spirit boxes. So again, if you hear voices, I don't listen to the regular audio, so I can speed through getting through your data so I can get it to you in a timely manner. I already have the stories memorized, so I don't need the audio. So if you guys find something, you'll be able to have my contact information at the end of this. Wow, I'm going to be screaming all night long at the ghosts. Hopefully they're not going to be scared off. So, let's get started with why we started here, shall we?
Yeah.
All right. Questions, comments, or concerns at this point? Is this what y'all thought you signed up for? Crazy blinky lights and... No? All right. Tom's like, yeah, man. Let's do it.
Hey, everything here is interactive. I told them all it was interactive.
What? No.
But who the? You didn't give us all the information. Research?
They normally don't have it, so because it's very limited on the
you brought the
website.
scariest people to this.
Big John's behind me. There's a reason why we start here. This place used to be owned by a football player named Big John Kennedy. He played for the 1947 New York Giants. This was his bar. He used to sit in the back of the bar and tell the bartender of the cadets coming over from the Citadel if they were old enough to drink or not. One night, 2 guys come in, they're not old enough to drink. He has the bartender throw them out. They leave pretty angry. They come back the next night and they try to steal the cash register from the very front of the bar. John sees what's going on, he slams down his beer, gets up, and beats the hell out of him. Just pounding him right to the floor. A couple of gunshots go off. John gets grazed in the neck.
Come here. On this side. There's someone in that window. First, second, third.
It was. I saw it too.
I would tell you that cannot see through glass.
I cannot see through glass?
No.
Oh, so what's that then?
Different temperatures.
Different temperatures. Oh, cool.
So if you have a cold spot temperature going on in there, that could possibly be something. It's just not going to show up as a person would.
Okay, cool. Okay.
So, fair enough. Debunked. Where
Good
was I?
debunking.
Oh,
Sorry.
John got shot in the neck, right? The bullet goes past him after it grazes his neck and goes into the wall behind him. John gets up after being shot. He's the only one that got shot, by the way. Goes back to the bar and tells the bartender to get him another beer, get the 2 guys on the floor, and ambulance. Here's the irony of the story. Nobody died in that story. We think of ghosts and often think there's a death that occurred, right? But what's haunting the place is the bullet hole. It's allegedly still here. even if the Big Johns that we now know after the renovations have filled in that bullet hole, Big John's blood is still in this building. People that sit in the front of this bar tend to get a little queasy, nauseous, or vague. This is your repeated warning. You will be dealing with paranormal activity tonight, fingers crossed, because that's why you all are here. I don't know how it's going to affect you. So if anybody starts to feel any of those symptoms, I need to know immediately. So that way we can move the whole group and get that person to safety. Is that fair?
Yes.
All right, good deal. That's the scariest thing I'm going to tell you all night long, I promise. So, same building. Have you guys taken any other Charleston history tours?
No.
No? What about the two of you? Neither?
Nope.
All right. Well, we had a big earthquake here in 1886. The reason I ask you about the other tours is because every tour talks about it. It is an anomaly for us here in Charleston because we're on the East Coast. We're not supposed to have earthquakes. This building behind us, Big John's, is where allegedly the first death occurred from that earthquake. The white mantle you see behind me in the middle of the building also wraps around the front on the East Bay side. A piece of it broke off during that earthquake, hit somebody in the back of the head, killed them, and they say you could see his ghost in the middle of East Bay Street. I say apparently and allegedly like this story because I don't have any proof. It's just a great segue so nobody's thinking about getting sick on the tour. That's a joke. You're supposed to laugh because I just brought it up again. Yeah. So, interactive, right, Tom? We got to get these girls going.
It's okay, girls. I didn't get it on. I'm sorry. That's all right.
This is going to be a fun group. Is everybody ready to go ghost hunting?
Yes.
All right, we're going to head up this way.
Security.
Yeah, I know. I got you guys.
Nick, if you want me to laugh at times, please make sure I know. I'll back you up, man. Oh, where's everybody? Okay. Well, that's the air. Basically, we're looking for shapes, or orbs, or things like that normally probably wouldn't work. I want to go down there.
You don't?
I do. I mean, I want to see if that thing's still there. Did it die?
Did you hear hey again? Someone was talking to you. They were talking to you.
You had some questions already? What color did it go? Oh, there we go. Orange. So, perfect. All right. So, we're already getting a little bit of reading, which is good.
I know. Everybody will move away from her. She likes it. I'll let her come in the car with you tomorrow. We're done. I'm going to fly back from here. Nope.
So, welcome to the Big Red Barn lot. You're going to see my voice drop a little bit because the horses are inside that barn. So, the barn behind you. So, again, this is definitely a no laser zone because the lasers obviously spook the horses. So, we're not going to spend a lot of time here. Your entire time with me should be kind of thought of as a ghost hunting 101 course, right? So, as we kind of go throughout the night, it's going to get a little bit more difficult, which means this is the easiest space we're going to be in. The history here is really simple. This is the same Big Red Barn where we held horses that delivered milk and eggs to the residents of Charleston. Throughout every piece of history I'm going to give you tonight, I will always slow down on specific keywords for the spirit box folks. There are 5 of you working with spirit boxes tonight. That's most of the group. So over there, it would have been 47, New York, Giants, John, and anything relatable to a bar. Over here, delivery, milk, eggs, anything relatable to a stable. So let's talk about spirit boxes. This is not television. This is not YouTube, nor is it a Ouija board. This is not is somebody here? Because everybody wants to ask that question, right? Because if somebody answers no, that means somebody's here, okay? So we're not going to be asking yes and no questions all night long. Throughout the night, I'm going to give you impromptu questions that you can use. If you go rogue, it's perfectly fine. I just ask that you don't ask things like yes or no questions. For example, I would tell you if you were in this space and we were going to actually fully investigate it, I would say stick to questions you already know so you get used to listening to your spirit boxes. Questions like, if somebody's here, tell me what color the Big Red Barn is. Obviously, we're looking and listening for the color red. Now, with the color red, most of you are listening to song lyrics and DJs to convey messages back to us. So the word red might not be available to that specific DJ to be able to convey the message. But fire truck, blood, heart, those 3 things are specifically red. I would take that as a direct answer and kind of be done with it. What color is the Big Red Barn? Blood. Good. However, most of the night I'm going to require 2 pieces of something going on to be able to verify what's actually happening around us. For example, let's say we have the word art on your word list, and we have the number 40 that comes out of your spirit box. Individually, those 2 terms don't mean anything, but put them together, Art Faircloth was number 40 for Big John's team. You see how we're going to have to verify some things going on? Again, you guys want paranormal proof? It doesn't come out of a yes or no question. It just doesn't. So again, we're going after legitimate paranormal locations. You good with that? She's like, I'm not sure. Like, I'm just gonna listen.
Yeah.
That is how you read us.
So, I think the spirit box teams, you guys pretty much have a good gist on how you're going to be using your spirit boxes tonight. So let's talk about the two cameras.
Yeah.
So first off, those of you with cameras, I want you kind of both to understand we might be in some spaces where there's going to be parked cars, and it is a Saturday night. So we do not film people because they don't like to be filmed, and we don't film people's cars because they don't like their cars to be filmed. If I do an act casual, kind of like an Andy's Coming from Toy Story, you're going to just basically point your camera straight at the ground, and then of course you have a cell phone, Tom, so it's going to be very easy to kind of hide that. Wow, that was kind of a loud too, right? So again, going to be very easy to, when I say act casual, you're basically just going to hold it like a cell phone.
Okay.
Let's start with yours. So basically, I'm not looking for things in the purple circle. As you can see me in the frame right now, I should be, right, so I'm looking for things outside that purple circle, things that should not be able to reflect light. Because we're using light I can't see anyway, unless I'm using that specific camera. So go ahead and point one of your lasers down for me. I want to kind of demonstrate how you guys are going to use this. So again, I already know what the stars look like, so what you're going to do is you're going to take 2 to 3 steps back, and you're going to shoot through here. So again, you want to maybe raise up just a hair. There you go, perfect. So we want, like, you basically just created a laser grid right here.
Yeah.
So I already know what these guys look like. I want something to show up here. So again, you want to kind of shoot through it, not going right down at it. In some spaces, again, lasers might not be a safe area, because first off, lasers actually set off car alarms, no pressure at all. So notice how I kind of spread apart all of the different things about the lasers. Just so it wasn't like a big compartment.
Right?
So again, lasers do set off car alarms, so I'll say be very careful. You want to keep them very tight to you, kind of like where you have it now. Okay. No more than 2 to 3 feet in front of you. You don't want to be spreading it out, kind of so to speak. So keep
Just let it in.
You got it.
And I dig this up though.
Pretty much. And the slower the two of you move together, it's a lot easier to find anomalies in the grid light and in the background IR lighting at the same time. So the slower the better. Tom, you're going to try to do 2 things for us. You're going to try to keep one of us in view at all times.
Okay.
The reason why is because obviously we're going to be the warmest thing out here, so that's going to kind of just give us that array of color. It's going to be easier to spot those cold areas.
All right.
The other thing you're going to try to do is keep the sky out. Sometimes it's going to be impossible.
Yeah.
The reason I say that blue dot's going to default to the sky, looking for a surface. There's no surface on the sky.
Okay.
So again, some spaces are going to be impossible.
Okay.
All right, does everybody kind of have a good gist of what their devices are doing? I do have to work with that REM pod at the next space, so we'll get into that. But those spirit boxes, like, they all work just a tad bit differently from one another, except for the 2 earbud people. So do we have any words that have popped up on your list before?
Maybe.
What do you got?
Maybe.
Oh. So when I say, like, what are the last couple of words, you're going to hit that little white box to the right. And then we just circle back.
Okay, so just hit that.
You got it.
Okay.
And then circle back. All right, let's go learn much deeper
So
history
what's
than...
this red one for again?
Either one you want to use, whatever you're comfortable with, you can use them together.
Okay.
So go ahead. I mean, the only thing I say, like, the easiest way to do it is to not cross the streams. I know that's a bad Ghostbusters joke, but it does work here. So you want to kind of create a nice large grid, but if you put them, like, inside of each other, it's pointless.
Like
there you go. You got it.
Do you see?
Christmas.
Oh, I see your
Yeah,
red.
I know, right?
Yeah. Well,
I see nothing. I mean,
All right, I say we go deep dive, a little deeper than football players and ponies. What do you guys think?
let's
Go.
All right, grab your stuff. We're going to go this way. Look at that. We're on.
Haha.
I'm waiting for another joke.
I was trying to be helpful. He was too cool.
What?
He was too old too. I can't talk with the earbud in your ear. It's okay.
I hear a bell.
You don't hear a bell.
It was actually pretty cool.
I heard something earlier, but I think I turned it off. I couldn't understand what it said.
I know, that sounds like, I'm pretty sure red. Who's red right there? Red. What?
We're already on it. So what's going on with the other millimeter? Where's that one at? Have you had any readings come out of it yet?
Just 0.2.
Okay. So again, 2.5 and higher. So you already went to red straight in? Nice. right, so I'm going to pull everybody in a little bit further because that's the only entrance and exit for vehicles. Yes, welcome to another beautiful side of Charleston. You're inside of a parking lot. So it's Saturday night, so it's a little crowded in here, but we're going to work with this. We can do this. I've done it dozens of times. So welcome to the Pinckney Mansion site. So this is where Charles and Eliza Pinckney had their mansion. It sat in the front of this space, facing East Bay Street. Eliza's garden was lined up with Five Church Restaurant and came all the way across, and we are standing in the servant and slave quarters for the home. So, who the heck were these people? Well, I guess I should stop there. Spirit box folks, I am not going to be giving you questions like what color is George Washington's white horse, like what we just did over there with the red barn. You will get the answers from your spirit boxes. I will withhold information on purpose so you have a genuine experience. So, Eliza and Charles had a son named Charles, they had a nephew named Charles. That's 3 different Charleses, in case you lost track. You now should see why I always look for that secondary clue to kind of verify what's actually happening. So the son and the nephew were signers of the Constitution for South Carolina. It's a big deal for us, but you guys are on vacation and I hate politics more than you do. So let's talk about Eliza. She's way cooler anyway. Eliza married Charles at a young age according to today's standards. So you can ask her how old she was when she got married, and the answer will not be like 12 or 14 like the colonial times that she came from. It's according to today's standards. The reason I bring this up is because Charles was over double her age when they married. So that's a pretty big deal. It's pretty significant about her life. So, but she married him because her father over in England thought he was dying, and he wanted to see all of his children one last time. But she didn't think he was dying, so she stayed put and got married. Now, this is 1744. You didn't marry for a green card or citizenship. Like, that just wasn't a thing because we're not even a country yet. She married him out of love. Dad did not die right away, so she was right. I'm still getting readings, which is awesome. So the reason I bring this up is because he starts sending gifts to this space that we're now standing in. One of those gifts happened to be the plant seeds of indigo. Indigo is a plant that makes blue dye that makes our blue jeans blue. That's how we still use it today. So she didn't know what to do with it when she had it. She had to learn from her slaves how to keep it cultivated. It's obviously not super warm down here all the time. Then she moves into a plantation just north of here, calls her father and says, rice plantations are going downhill. We can make a killing with this indigo. Now we have an international businesswoman during colonial times. I know we just got out of, Women's History Month, but I still tell this story year-round, just because it's awesome. That's her business. Let's get into the weird stuff, because that's why you guys are all here, right? Because you wanted the weird stuff, right?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So, Eliza was the second wife named Eliza from Charles, back to back, same year. First wife died 1744. 5 months later, he marries this Eliza. Ironically, both Elizas have a maiden name that starts with the letter L. You can ask which Eliza we're dealing with by asking her maiden name. Hopefully you get the answer. The mansion's not here anymore. You can ask what happened to it. And then, of course, what year did that happen? So hopefully you get an answer out of that. It's a very specific year. Notice none of these questions are yes or no questions. The children, I told you there's at least one. He was Charles, right? Signer of the Constitution. But there are more. You can ask how many, what their names were. Leave it alone after that. The reason being is there's a tragedy among those children. If we poke the bear, all activity will stop, including the readings we're getting from the K2 meter already. So I've seen it go down to 0, and just nothing happens for the rest of your evening. Don't ruin the tour for everybody else. So I will reveal what happened before we leave the space. Eliza's death is where she's really open. You can ask her how she died, how old she was, where she buried, and what U.S. president was a pallbearer at her funeral. Like, these are all very specific questions. She knows what we're going to ask. If you go rogue and ask your own questions, just make sure it's something we can prove, have fun with it. Again, I can't prove, how she felt about her children or how she felt about certain things. Her feelings are not proven. So ask specific dates, names, things like that, whatever you can think of. You can also use the questions that I gave you. We are going to be using something new that even London doesn't even know that we have. So, yeah, she's stoked. She doesn't even know it.
She looks very stoned.
We're going to be using a trigger object.
What?
I know.
Can I get that?
London's going to be carrying indigo seeds. So these are the legitimate same plants, the same seeds that Eliza would have used to make her blue dye. So I normally would hand this to somebody with a spirit box, but London hasn't been down here for a couple of months, so I'm going to give her something exciting to do. Keep in mind it's glued on there, don't break it.
Please,
First night somebody already snapped it off. So, but with this, we're hoping that it's going to kind of spark some interest for Eliza to give us a little bit more. Again, I don't know everything there is to know about the Pinckney, so if you guys come up with weird sayings, I'm like, oh, that's cool, I'm going to look into that. Again, there's just certain things I just don't know. So if it's not relevant, I'm still going to write it down, but I'm going to give it to you tomorrow morning in your analysis. We are going to spread out in this area. We are not going to go in between vehicles, which kind of limits us on space because there's a lot of vehicles here. And of course, we're going to pay close attention to where the cars are. If people are going to their cars, because most of these cars are from employees and people downtown, that's where I'm going to do the, Andy's coming, so that kind of thing. So obviously, you're going to point your camera down, and Tom, you'll be good to go. Just act like you're playing with a cell phone. But I do have to work with this REM pod. So first thing, London, is well, I guess we can get you recording. So, and then let me know if this thing locks up. We're testing a new theory, hoping that it's not going to. And I'll show you how we have to deal with that if it is locked up. Go ahead and unmute yours. That's the button on the right. Obviously, other spirit boxes should be already turned up, and I'm going to show you how to use that motion sensor. So everybody else, let's spread out. London, go find your people and show them what's going on. Use that indigo to hopefully capture some decent evidence. So have you seen any other numbers move out of this guy?
Yeah.
What have you seen it go up to?
able to use this so
Only probably.
Okay. So anywhere between like 1.1 and 1.7 per.
Wait, what was the other question?
An actual.
What was the other question?
Last name.
Which one are you? What letter? What
What's last name?
What was your last name? What was your last name?
On the back.
What was your last name?
Whoops. Gotcha. There you go.
What happened to your house? Where was your garden?
What year?
How
What's
old were
this?
you when you got married? Nothing. Nothing.
Nothing.
Where are the ponies?
What you get?
I turned it off by accident. Oh. When you turn it off, it talks to you.
Oh.
When you turn it off and turn it back on. How old were you when you got married?
It's Lambert. I'm getting Lambert.
What?
I'm getting Lambert, Fire, and Hulk.
You need to tell him that.
I don't know if any of those
You
are.
need to
No,
tell
no,
him
I
that.
won't say anything. No, let's see what he says.
I'm gonna
If
say
I get, no, don't say anything. Don't say anything.
But if he says that I did anything, you need
Lambert.
to tell him you done
I don't
something.
know if it's Waffle.
You need to tell him that. I'm going to tell him.
No, don't.
Yes.
No, please don't. Just got some wrong. Like,
What do we got going on over here?
not much. Not getting anything.
I'm not hearing anything. He's getting things like
Okay.
names in his head.
Like what?
Lambert.
You have the same device, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't hear anything.
You guys turn the volume up,
Yeah, it's working.
and it's sweeping. Yours is not sweeping. Oh,
How do you sweep it?
I already had it set up to sweep. You must have tapped something on the
Oh.
front. It's okay. That's why you guys keep me around.
I hear music.
Why is it not sweeping?
One of the biggest.
And it's about the lyrics. So if you hear lyrics, I want to know what the lyrics say. It's going to say S-Box when I turn it back on.
And I also got something that said Fire and Polk. I don't know what's that.
I hear lyrics and I hear a man talking in the background.
Okay. Do you know what they said?
No.
I hear lyrics too, and I can't hear what they're saying.
Again, you're not going to hear every little thing because it's sweeping pretty fast. However, it's as slow as I can possibly make it. So again, you're not used to listening to white noise and things like this all the time. That's why it's so difficult for you now. Even if you guys don't hear anything in real time, I'm still going to go through your recording tomorrow and give you more markers to even check out. I don't know what Lambert means, and you said you heard fire and polk. So fire is definitely relevant in this space.
Okay.
So we'll kind of see what else pops up in your brain. But yeah, the only thing you'll need to worry about is that volume button. Otherwise, it'll stop. That's why you probably weren't hearing anything, because you were stuck on one station.
Got it.
So, but yeah, even if you hear "Buy It Now" from a commercial, that's basically what I want to know. I want to know every little thing that you. I mean, if even
For testosterone.
That's not that.
Okay. Well, no, it was a thing. It just said testosterone. I'm
it's
sorry.
funny that actually showed up at another later location. Yeah, so it must be.
I mean,
a
that was
commercial.
clear. That
Yeah.
was really clear.
Okay, I'm gonna start following up with everybody else and give you a minute to get used to it.
No, Lambert. How old were you when you got married?
Like what?
So that's why I say don't. Just because I got things doesn't mean it's always right.
Is it not
How old were you when you got married?
Freaked out when I started saying words.
That's what it's supposed to do.
She heard me. She was with me.
So yours is 5.8 for like half a second.
So at this point, it's on the anything above 5.
You said I don't. That's why
That's what.
you heard that?
No, I just heard you say that. What?
Did he ask a question?
Specifics. Obviously, you've already been maxed out. I've seen it go all the way to red already, so they should be following you too. Anybody with a spirit box, so that way they know where the red spots are. How's that camera working? Is it locked up yet?
No, it's just. I mean, there's nothing. I'm staring at everything.
So the lasers in that particular video, because it's so small, is so remember you want to go through it. You want to look straight down at it. No, you want to look up.
Here.
There you go.
Oh, like that?
Yes.
Oh, I did this.
Nope.
Oh, okay.
Come on, everybody. Yours is creepier. Yeah.
So when I'm looking for something to go through.
Yeah, and again, with this being so small on the screen, I blow these up to YouTube for y'all, so that way you guys can watch them. So again, real time for lasers, it's not.
I hear a lot of stuff, but I can't make any of it out. Can you make any of it out?
Somewhat.
So it's not.
Hardly any. When I hear
You don't have the
something.
most exciting job in the world. It's
I only heard testosterone.
catching a freeze frame.
Thunder White.
See it.
I heard the word.
What happened to your
Thunder
house?
White. That's a crazy term.
Colkin, I don't know why I keep getting Colkin 14.
You have the word garden. So remember that your spirit box is slowed down. So what color is the big red barn? Rudolph the red-nosed reindeer. I don't need Rudolph the nosed reindeer. I just need red. You heard Garden of Eden. We're standing in the garden right now.
Oh.
Do you see where I'm going?
Yeah. Tonight.
Yeah, too big. More specifics. You got this. Karen, how you doing on yours now? You got anything coming
I
in?
heard medical and dental.
Okay. I like medical. You hearing anything else? 10 point what?
10.8.
You guys are gonna make me run out of paper tonight.
That's weird. I just heard a number like 14 and 11.
It does. Very specific.
Okay.
Very specific. Why don't you see if you can find out, like kind of tune into whatever that 14 is actually coming from.
Okay.
What are you getting?
Number 14.
I heard loved one.
Your answer. They were married for 14 years.
Oh, wow.
Wow, that's weird.
No, it's not. This is what we do.
I just heard men's and women's.
C puts up with me when I do things like this. So,
You don't know. Bodies of.
I belong.
Good. I had that.
You had I belong?
And obviously they're not synced.
Right.
So, and I don't sync them on purpose because I don't want them to be synced. I don't want you guys to hear the exact same thing.
I had race.
Okay?
20.
We're just gonna be throwing words at you all night.
That's what I want you to do.
Now that we're here, now that I got it turned on.
Well, notice I've only pulled out my pen when something's been relevant, because I wanted to make sure you guys were going to hear something out of it, because some people can't hear it. But now, at this point...
7th. Sounds crazy.
13-0.
I had Roanoke 7th.
And I had 13-0.
I'm sorry, what was yours?
I heard Roanoke 7th.
Roanoke?
7th. But I might have just heard the word Roanoke because that's where I'm from.
I wrote down your 13-0.
I had 77th.
I got 7th, and then you said 77th?
Yeah, just 7th.
Just 7th, okay. All right, I want to see what's going on with the other one, so keep listening in.
Did you get anything?
We're not scared out of their minds. Yeah, that's not happening in this lifetime.
It's not a scary story. It's not scary.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah.
What
See?
terms have you had? Give me the last 3 terms.
I have had discovery, turn, realize.
And guess what? She's probably a nice lady. She probably is. Don't realize it.
I just heard good for you.
Oh my god!
Stuff like that.
What?
Oh, I
Crazy weird.
tell Eliza that she's welcome in California.
Hello.
Tall oak.
How rude. We have hospitality too.
All right, I want everybody to keep listening to your spirit boxes, but we're going to slowly move back to the back. You're giving me a ton of information. I want to put all of this, kind of piece it all together for you to kind of show you like how this is working through. Like you're literally coming up, like the fact that the spirit boxes, you're hearing things out of them. This is not an easy job. There are some nights where somebody doesn't hear anything all night long and my notebook is empty. I filled up 5 pages already. Like literally, that's where I'm at. So this is, and I'm writing at this point just things that are relevant. At the very start, I normally kind of say, I write down. Yeah, wait for my name to pop up. That's coming up next. I guarantee it.
That's what you heard. Welcome back.
Welcome back.
That's what you heard.
Work.
How come you repeated
Fellow.
Was it like the mix of welcome back?
Rodriguez could be one of the football players.
Harriet.
I just heard fellow with a message.
See?
The last time I came by. What are you getting?
Got the name Harriet for some reason.
Who?
Harriet.
All right, so at this point, I want to cut the videos. So, London, you might want to help first since that's the red flashing. And then, Tom, go ahead and hit the red square.
Something like that.
M here?
Yeah, I can't identify something.
It might be a last name. I don't know all the last names off the top of my head. But when I say people live down here, I have the full list of residents of every person that's ever lived down here. So the names that normally come up for us is Benjamin and John every 6 to 7 weeks. Now, what's so significant about Benjamin and John? They both lived here in 1801. When I say people lived here, I'm not talking like there were dozens of houses here. I'm talking like 2 to 6 people lived here at a time. 1801, Benjamin and John were 2 out of 5 people that lived here. I get their names every 6 to 7 weeks. If we're ever confused as to which John, because there were 4 different Johns that lived here, we get the last name, which is Johnson. Yes, his name was John Johnson. So, I know, very interesting. So, with that said, those names show up again every 6 to 7 weeks. I have no other explanation. I don't have any significant, any events that occurred during 1801, just the 2 names. Now, the bricks you're standing on, this is where things get weird. So, these bricks I told you were late 1700s. They're called Belgian blocks. They're made straight from granite. If you know anything about the paranormal, you've probably heard the term limestone and how it kind of stirs up activity. Limestone comes straight from the earth, which is one of the things they say brings, the paranormal to life. Granite also comes straight from the earth, and when stones or rocks are sitting in the same space for a long period of time, they can hang on to the consciousness of memories. In essence, they're playing the same memories over and over again on a loop, which is why I hear those names every 6 to 7 weeks. It's called the stone tape theory. So again, brick's been here for 300 years. They're hanging on to something. That's the only explanation that I have. Before people lived here, the Freemasons had a Masonic lodge here, which is where the name Lodge Alley came from.
Okay.
So we do get terms around the Freemasonry as well. So Freemason, Mason,
I said it was like something like Mason.
and we also get the term Illuminati that shows up here quite a bit. Now, you're going to chuckle at that one, but I chuckle every time I hear it. First off, who the heck is saying the word Illuminati on radio stations for me to be able to hear it when I'm going through your data? The second thing is why am I only hearing the term Illuminati when I'm in this space? So again, can't say on any investigation I've ever had anywhere else have I heard the term Illuminati show up anywhere. So it's a very peculiar place. So as people walk through, go ahead and kill your lasers. We don't want to draw too much attention,
And I'm
just so you know.
Oh,
Yours specifically. Oh, what happened there?
It came off.
Oh, after the new part.
The sticky came off, so I was like,
Gotcha. It's a heavy, and this also popped out. So.
I just heard room 22.
22 definitely means something here. Remind me to tell you why. Did it really? I'll fix it. The battery still good, so that part is ready. Yeah, you got my little bad guy cover there. That's awesome.
it locked on.
Locked on my bed. I'll have to zip tie this thing. Try to keep it. It's so heavy. Alright. Alright, so let's talk about why we're here. Any words come up? Now that steady reading is probably coming from the building behind you, so no need to get excited. Any words popping up on your end?
Yeah, but network 8 years
News is good. What was the other one? I'm almost positive on the gym. No, I'm wrong. Okay. Got me stoked there for a minute. I'm like, oh, that's amazing. The dates normally don't lie, so it doesn't mean something didn't happen here in June. So, excuse us. Yeah, oh, you're good, you're good. So, all right, any other terms that you may have heard along the way? You gave me
American Top 40.
Top 40. Yeah, I like 22 better.
Yeah.
Yeah. What happened?
In depth.
I did. Did you really know?
All right, so
I've been told that people have been touched down here.
what's that?
Touched, like,
People have been touched. Something's touched people here.
A lot of tours like to come through here.
I mean, like, people have, like, and there's, like I'll be honest, I would not be in the right spot for the photograph. I would have to be over there aiming that way.
then do it.
Do you want to switch spots?
Okay, you can switch.
Yeah.
Move around.
Oh, just tell me.
That's okay. I'm just like, there is. I was just. And waits for. I don't judge the sick people and touches them. Life's more like that. But to be like.
Yeah.
To be an asshole, not to be not out of fun. This is like an asshole. Judging people.
Yeah, that's probably it.
Okay.
All right, so let me tell you guys what's going on here. So I'm going to put you back along the wall. Everybody kind of line up for me. And I'll tell you what's going on here. Yeah. So behind me is what's called Philadelphia Alley. And it's supposed to straighten the building back up again. It's a great idea, it just doesn't work. Yeah. The reason I point these out is because it's the first set of earthquake bolts that Charlestown put in. Reason being, this is the oldest government building in South Carolina. It was finished in 1713. We are here because of its time period, and obviously our ghost that we're going to be investigating is from the same time period. It's what I call a familiar. It's like using a toy to attract a child ghost. It's the same principle. Building's obviously familiar to the early 1700s. So, we talked about the Charlestown walls back at Lodge Alley. The parking garage where you're looking at it right now, that's where the original Charlestown wall stood. It went up past the powder magazine and started going south towards the battery. It puts the the powder magazine in the corners on purpose. If it gets attacked from a Revolutionary warship or a pirate ship from 3 blocks away, it's as far away as it possibly can be to try to stay safe, and it's going to have a hard time getting through those 32-inch thick walls. Let's pretend it does, and it goes in and blows up the gunpowder. There's sand in the roof from like 1710 to 1712 that's supposed to go up with the explosion and then fall to put out the fire of the gunpowder. Sounds like a really good idea, doesn't it? It's a gunpowder magazine. It's a stupid idea because it doesn't work. So we had another powder magazine that was closer to the battery. It did get hit because of our geography. Sand went up and the building burned to the ground. This one has just never been attacked, but it has served in 7 different wars, including the Civil War. That was its last servant. So again, you already know why we're here, so let's get right into the middle of the story. This building took 10 years to build. It doesn't sound like our government, does it? 10 years, small building? So
Sounds fast.
yeah, very small building. So our story begins right in the middle of its construction. 1708, a young lady moves here from Ireland. Her name is Anne Cormack. She moves here with her father and his mistress. The mistress is her mother. Are you guys with me so far? There's a lot of twists here. I'm going to stop just to make sure everybody's still clear. The mistress is her mom. So the 3 of them are running away from his wife. How angry was she that they left Ireland to land over here? They land in Georgetown. Dad buys a plantation. Mom dies pretty quickly. That means he has to send young Anne down here to Charlestown to keep things afloat and to kind of keep things going for them. This is why we're here. Now, Anne back home in Ireland was kind of a badass. They say she actually killed one of her servants when she was like 10 or 11 with a knife to the belly. Like, she was hardcore stuff. So we're going to fast forward. Building's done in 1713. 1715, pirates are coming through town. Anne is stoked. She falls in love pretty quickly. This guy's name is James Bonney. Dad doesn't approve. He's a filthy pirate. I'm not going to approve either. Right, London?
Correct.
Okay, thought so. So they run away to Jamaica. They get married. Anne Cormack becomes Anne Bonney, your most famous female pirate of the Golden Age. Now, when they get down there, this guy is not the swashbuckling Captain Jack Sparrow that she was hoping for, that me and London just watched this afternoon before we came to meet with you guys. But this guy turns out to be a privateer. He's a spy for the British. In her eyes, he's a coward. So she falls in love again. Guy number 2, I'll keep track. The next guy she falls in love with, this guy's name is John RAKHEE, aka Calico Jack. We're going to call him Jack through the rest of the story just because there's so many J names that you guys are trying to keep track of right now. The Jack has his own ship and Anne wants to be part of it. You can't put a girl on the crew. Females curse pirate ships. So he makes a deal with her. If you dress like the crew, hiding your gender, you can be part of the crew, but you're going to be a female in my quarters. She's okay with this because Dad used to cross-dress her as a boy back home in Ireland to keep her away from his wife. So she's good with it. Let's be a pirate, let's go. We're all adults here, except for London. You can put 2 and 2 together that being a female in his quarters, she's eventually going to get pregnant. Can't have a pregnant pirate dude on the crew. Somebody's going to figure out she's a female. So he drops her off in Cuba. Go have the baby. These are friends of mine. They'll help you out. Come back later. We'll figure it out. She comes back after having the baby with no baby. We have no idea what happened to that child. She's also dressed like a female. She doesn't give a damn anymore about hiding her gender. This makes Jack pretty mad. Jack also just captured another pirate crew and they're down below deck. Anne's going to go flirting because that's what Anne does. Guy number 3. Guy number 3 turns out to be a female, just like a guy to be part of the pirate crew that Calico Jack just captured. So now we have 2 females on the same ship, dressed like males, trying to be pirates. So her name is Mary Reed. Her and Mary become friends, possibly lovers, and Mary joins the crew. The British find out where they are. They send their entire fleet of ships to take down 1 pirate ship. Anne and Mary are the only 2 not drunk enough to come up and fight with their 1-bullet flintlocks. Obviously, the whole ship is going to get taken from the fleet, from the British. As they're being arrested, Anne looks at Jack, her captain and beau, and says, "You should have fought like a man instead of being hanged like a dog." So, she's obviously still mad at Mr. Jack. So, the judge, his name is Nicholas Laws, so if you hear my name here, it could be one of many things, but it's usually not me unless it's something directed at me. But he wants to see the 2 men by themselves that fought back so valiantly and courageously after he's already killed and hung Calico Jack and his drunken sailor crew. So Anne and Mary go in front of the judge. They reveal their gender, hoping to save themselves. He doesn't care that they're female. He's still going to hang them because they're still pirates. "We plead our bellies," was the last thing they say, both claiming to be pregnant. You cannot hang a pregnant woman in 1720. It's illegal. So he sends them both back to jail, delays the hanging. Dad is still here in the Charleston area with all of his Irish money. He bails out Anne, brings her back home. She remarries. That's husband number 2, guy number 4, because yes, we're going to count Mary Reed, has 4 children, and dies at the age of 84. Yes, all of my stories end in death. As far as Mary Read goes, she died in 1721, a year later in the Jamaican jail from whatever pirates die from in a Jamaican jail. Use your imagination. I'm sure it was pretty nasty. So, I left two things out for you as far as spirit boxes. I left out the name of Anne Bonny's parents. That's the father and the mistress. I also left out the name of Calico Jack's ship. So if you want to ask those questions, you can. Everything else is fair game. Before I have you all separate, let me tell you why Tom wasn't feeling well when he got here. How are you feeling now?
When you first started the story, I got the word murder. And I also, something was telling me something about a wall.
That's the wall right there.
Yeah.
I got death and struggle.
Death, struggle, and wall.
And then I have got if you win it, we'll play it.
Back in September, I bring a group back here about the same size, 8 to 9 people. I don't remember exactly how big. But before I tell, are you kidding? This is not a space where we get EMF.
Yeah, well.
And that's like spiked out. I bring my group back here. The kid next to me goes white as a ghost, pun intended. I pick him up by his armpit and carry him over to that wall over there because there's a little ledge. So basically his boyfriend's got him on the other side trying to help me carry him over there. I send him over to the vending machines to get a bottle of water. He comes back. He's then feeling better. Understand that they did not know the story yet. I then tell the story. They pull me aside after I spread everybody out to go play with their devices and capture some evidence. And they say, Nick, we have to tell you something. I'm like, what's going on? We are 2 transgender males. Meaning I had 2 females dressed as males, just like Anne and Mary on my tour. And it made sense to them as to why one of them was not feeling well the minute we entered the space. That's why London went straight over to Tom to say, do you need me to go over there? Yes, just in case. It's
No, I'm a guy.
Is there something I
Guy, sorry. I know a show, but it's okay. No consent.
there are certain spaces where it's going to be a little bit more sensitive, you know, for folks like you that can tune in. So, those of you with cameras, if you want to go to the front of the powder magazine, you would leave the lot and make a left, so you're free to do that with lasers as well. Your EMF meters, again, this is not a space where we get EMF. If you get anything, it's pretty exciting. This is not the Pinckney Mansion site, so kind of keep that in mind. I definitely want to use the REM pod, so who's got the motion
Do you normally
sensor?
like rock back
Where's
and
that at?
forth? Because you're doing that.
So yeah, you definitely want to get that thing turned on in here, spirit boxes.
He's like going like
Again,
this.
this spot is a
He
hit or
always
miss.
does that.
We either
Okay,
have
just
a
making
lot
sure.
or we're not going to have
That's-
anything.
But thank
Again,
you.
we'll spend a good 5 to 10 minutes here, depending on how much activity is actually happening.
Okay.
But yeah, lasers, keep in mind on the vehicles.
Why is it there?
Just getting motion. Reset it. That was purple directly, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I know, I did say something.
I just heard I'm so in love with you.
There's something here. Very strong.
What?
So I'm trying to write down everything that you guys are telling me.
No,
Wall,
I mean,
pain,
it's a
struggle.
physical, there's intelligent spirit
I'm pointing at that.
here.
Is it a bad spirit?
I'm trying to
This
think. Like, yeah, let's
too.
definitely get those spirit boxes
Anne
going.
and Mary.
No,
And
One's
let's see if we can
associated
capture. We're going to end
with
over
something
there on
over
that
there.
wall.
Go away. No, this thing said go away. Oh,
I just heard I'm showing
there's
signs
something.
here.
it said go away.
Okay?
There is a very strong spirit here.
And I heard I'm
mean-
showing signs here.
There's 2
Ooh,
here.
that gives me the chills. I got the
There's
chills.
2.
Now.
One is associated with over here.
This thing said go away.
I want to touch that,
Said
go
go
that
away.
building. And there is something.
We're not going
on the-
away, and
And there's something on. I want to go through here. I just want to go through here. Like I want to be. It's so really weird. Like someone's supposed to pull me over that side.
that's where Calhoun's buried, right on the other side of that wall.
That's who's Barry?
John Calhoun.
Someone I want to be pulled. Like someone wants to take my hand,
Yeah. Yankee
pull me. But there's someone over there. There's a man over there.
I want to say the name Henry showed up across the street, right?
I think so.
He's there. Right. In bet-
Exactly where I'm heading. Are you filming?
Yeah.
like if you go see those bushes right there, right? You see the van? He's like in that. He's that area. Oh, he's going like this. He's going like this right now. He's just down on his.
I want to get the IR.
Yeah, there. It's, you know, it's like make a shape. Hurt. Like, exciting to my breath away. Okay, I'm sorry.
Oh, you're
Wait,
fine.
what was the other question I was supposed to ask? What was your parents' name and what else?
Name of Calico Jack's ship.
Oh, what was the name of Calico Jack's ship?
Does name Winnie mean anything?
Winnie.
Winnie or Win? Yeah, he's over here. There's a guy here. Why is he associated with this place? He's gonna have to back. He's looking at the booth like this now. It's just like he's not like he's being disturbed. He doesn't like it. He doesn't like it. Say anything. There. So this is getting closer. That's he's right, like almost on top of him.
Seasons. Tight.
They weren't getting anger.
A what?
Anger.
No. Are you getting angry?
He's not happy.
Because we're here, he's not happy.
He's just
Her payment went crazy, like
he was
16.
he was glaring at you. The machine. See?
Who is he though?
Like
I
there's-
don't know. He's
I
just
just saw like a figure there.
Here?
that's right where you're at.
Right where I'm at.
I'm sorry.
That 16.4 is huge here. I'm just gonna
He's not happy. This guy is
Can we
not
get a
happy.
name?
He was like when you were talking over there. I was telling London. He's just glaring. He's like standing like this. He's glaring anger at you guys.
And I'm going to be perfectly honest. You guys can actually go through any of my, investigations on those tours because I leave everything on the website. This is not a space for EMF. The fact that that thing has already spiked up to 25 at max rated twice, and you've had a 16.4, and we're not anywhere near those parking meters. Like we're not even close. Like that is huge. That's almost pinpointed exactly where Tom said he saw somebody up here by the bushes. Like this is crazy. It's like that's why. Like this is look of shock right now.
He's
Like,
associated with this space.
the Power magazine. I don't know. Well, Henry wasn't associated with this. I mean, Tom's feeling like this guy's.
Well, at least he's from this place. I don't know if he's here. I know that Southern Belt.
There's uniforms inside, aren't there, Dad?
Yeah, uniforms and artillery from the 7 wars that it served in.
Okay, I'm getting something here. Like I know something like I'm losing my breath and I got like hit here. I don't know what that means. But the guy's wearing blue pants. I don't know if that means
Blue pants?
anything. Blue pants, white shirt, and suspenders.
Sounds like one of the uniforms that might be in there.
And he's not thinnest guy. He's a little chunky. He's like looking at.
What did that say?
He's not happy.
They've also heard like go away and we'll keep you out.
Yeah, he's not happy.
Oh,
Give them
sad.
another minute to tell us something else. I mean, everybody seems like they're safe at this point. Like I'm keeping an eye on time and Tom and everybody else to make sure nobody's getting dizzy or anything like that. So we're gonna give them another minute. If you really have something to say to us, and you really want us to go, give us some other type of signal.
Is he still like over there?
Yeah, is he in the security?
He wants to know who you are.
He wants to know who is.
Me?
He's saying who's she.
She's Sejal. She's the birthday girl.
Like I mean, it's just like that. Who's she? Like it's not like who you are. It's like right.
Why are
if
you
you're
here?
Who is
there.
he?
He's not saying who he
You're
is.
asking. Are you asking?
He's just saying who's she. Like a very direct, like pointing.
Yeah, he only wants to know.
I think he got too close.
Oh, to that area.
Okay, I'll.
Like, I think that is like,
Let's go.
There's a reading right here.
okay.
Can I get another EMF over here to verify this?
Oh God. I'm not going. I'm not making it mad. Jordan, I got this. You can stay with me.
I have like the second green dot. It's reading in here. It's testing, which is different. So we're just going to see it's 5, which is
Okay. Dad.
step over.
Dad. He's saying like we seriously need to go.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I'm just letting you know he just does not want us.
It also
I have a feeling something was going to.
Let's go to the back wall so I can pull it. How about that?
Is he happy now?
No, he's following.
He's fine now?
He's following.
He's following?
He's following.
Oh, shoot. Who's he following?
Hold it.
What?
He's now turned back.
Oh, okay. I'm good. Oh, what if he's like a guard
He came to there. And then he turned back.
I'm following me like that other one.
No.
What? What do you mean like the other one? She said like the other one. Oh, what? There's another one.
He can tell you.
Are you sure?
So I definitely had like the second green dot because I have an EMF meter on my phone, and it works exactly like yours. I use it to debunk things all the time. So I had about the second green dot. So that's it. First. That's exactly what I heard as well. So
Watching.
Thirst or first?
first.
Okay, I'll just. Well, I'm not the
But he knows there's a band.
Me either. Me either. Hey, it's not about you. Apparently it was. It just makes me mad. It was.
Brown
You were in the wrong
suspenders.
Or she was in the right space.
Tan brown suspenders.
We can't be mad.
Do the pants have like
Well, chubby.
This
buckles
land over
on them
here
on the
is
sides?
actually owned by St. Phillips.
What's that?
So it actually belongs to the church.
Okay.
He's definitely has a pot.
Just that way? Yeah.
Not too big. What? He knows there's a band there. He likes band. I mean he knows his band. He knows what it. Well, I mean, I don't know if he knows what. Yeah,
We're going to leave yours on. Okay. I'm going to wrap up and so you guys at least have the answers. First off, I wanted you guys to know, like, this is one of the few pictures I could find of her where she has a shirt on. She used to bare her breast to show the men that she killed that they were just killed by a woman. I told you, she was a badass. So I also like this picture because it shows off the flintlocks that they used in those times. It's a painting. So I'm pretty, like, I'm not a gun person, but I find the flintlocks fascinating because they, like, basically, they have an evolution to them. And you can almost pinpoint them based on their time period. The name of her parents were William Cormack and Mary Brennan. You guys were not expecting another Mary, so there was a second Mary. Did you say Mary earlier?
Brandon. I mean, well, I know it sounds weird. That's my mother's side of the family.
Oh,
We're Irish.
Brendan, wasn't it?
Maybe related to it.
I got
maybe.
Brendan.
Well, the mother, remember, she was actually she was a servant for the home. That was his mistress that he was cheating on his wife with.
Oh.
Calico Jack. He was named that because of the jackets he wore. They came from the men he killed, so he was a very dapper young filthy pirate. So that's why they called him Calico Jack. This is the only picture that I know of him that has seemed somewhat true of what he actually looked like. The name of his ship was called the Kingston. So I expect the Kingston. So I don't expect Kingston. Go ahead and reset. Kingston to come through on a spirit box. However, King would suffice here. So again, I don't like to leave you guys hanging with these questions. So at least now you guys at least have the answers. Very impressive work, Mr. Tom. You are greatly appreciated.
Does the word win or winning mean anything?
We're next to Dueling Alley. It happens here all the time. I get competition, win, won.
Oh, and I had that win. If
Okay.
you play it, we'll win.
Yep.
Okay.
Like that.
Oh.
I told you we were going to get terms relative to that all night
a little
long.
darker. The whole thing was like almost like all leather.
So
More like-
I'm going to start
Yeah, but
collecting
that color.
devices.
Yeah, because that's from the Civil War.
Probably maybe pulled us out of a bad situation, which is we're kind of grateful that he's here. And again, I don't have a whole lot of
You also put us in
the
it.
I'm
folks
sorry.
that I have a whole lot of faith in, but I mean, you guys can only imagine the people that I see that all claim to be sensitive or psychic or medium, and then they're telling me random things that I don't have any clue what they're talking about. So therefore, there's no validation. Tom tonight has highly impressed me. And again, I've been in this field for 10 years plus, and I meet a lot of people. So very impressive. So I appreciate that. Again, I'm going to probably collect that REM pod last as I kind of go through this. And then you guys can ask me a million questions. You can probably ask Tom a million questions if he's open. Hell, he was the star of the show tonight, not me. But again, we never know what's actually going to happen. That's why I give you guys those heated warnings at the beginning, because I've called the paramedics before and EMTs, and I was in CPR class the first night that something actually occurred. So that next day I was like, yeah, this can't happen. Not to mention, I now have things inside my bag to keep us safe. I have epilepsy, so when I first started doing this, things were coming home with me that you all were bringing with you. You were bringing family members and friends that you lost, and they were going home with me. It doesn't affect me very well, to the point where I can't drive. So again, things were going on with me, where now we have things inside the bag that keep me protected and keep everything kind of neutrally balanced. That's one of the reasons why I moved directly into the space where Tom thought he saw something. So again, with that, there are things in my bag that should balance it out. I was surprised that he was following us afterwards, like, hey, what the hell are you doing here kind of mentality. But again, I knew I was safe. I'm good. I'm perfectly fine. I'm not stuttering, so that's a good sign. London keeps a good eye on me. She knows if I start reversing words in sentence order, so it would sound like order sentence I kind of mentality, she knows we got to get Daddy's meds now. So she's pretty good about that. So no mishaps tonight, no EMTs, so I'm going to call it a good night. So what questions do you guys have? London, I'm going to take yours.
Okay. I've been feeling a lot of stuff today.
Tonight.